I think they are preparing their food soak.
Sure. Yeah. Happy Dasara, by the way.
Happy Dashera.
How did you all celebrate in Sweden?
Uh, yeah, with a few friends celebrated.
Okay, nice.
I hope uh, they are ready with the food soak, and yeah, at least we can interact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for those who are returning, if you have, we have a few minutes. If you have anything to share from your just regular meditations, questions you might be facing, um, feel free to share that. Be happy to discuss at this time. I hope you all have a chance to do the foot soak regularly. Um, it is a really helpful technique to clear out and keep our chakras clean and the vibrations flowing, which in turn enhances our meditation. So anybody here for the first time to the side room? Okay, sounds good. So none so far, all returnees. Is anybody from Tony? Are you here, able to hear anything now? I just saw your message from a few minutes ago that you can't hear anything. So if you're just joining, this is the foot soak setup. We will be starting with the foot soak. So if you haven't already, and you have all these materials with you, please feel free to go get them and get set up. A tub of water and salt, and a mug of fresh water on the side, and perhaps a towel to dry. Um, Rahul is hinting to me to share experiences. I think I've shared just my few experiences before. Not really sure
Uh,
what specifically.
Today we are covering right heart chakra. So it would be good to hear your experiences on that.
Right. Trying to think if I have any experiences specifically about the right heart chakra. Um, we will have to, of course, talk about the qualities of this chakra, and to better appreciate how it manifests in our lives. Uh, but in a very short and concise way, one of the qualities of this center is, this is a stage in our evolution where we establish certain boundaries of behavior, uh, both towards ourselves and to others, and certain social norms were created in society, and which were needed at the time uh, to establish ourselves and have some order in society, and to in order to progress further. So um, in terms of experience, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can think of a right heart experience right now, um, except that it's important to appreciate those qualities in yourself, where um, um, you have respect for boundaries of behavior, to understand what it means to um, have some culture, and even though the intellectual mind sometimes, or the ego, can question certain norms, and so forth, but uh, I think it's important to understand um, why certain things in society are the way they are. That, of course, doesn't justify all uh, rituals, and you know some of the bad things in society, but it's yeah, I'm not sure if I have any specific experiences, but we'll certainly meditate on the chakra and see how we can introspect and improve upon these qualities today. So I think we can get started. So welcome everyone once again, and my name is Sudeep Hegde. I live in Clemson, South Carolina. I think I have interacted with most, if not all of you before, so it's good to see you again. Um, just before we go into today's meditation, the theme is going to be the right heart chakra, but it has a special significance around this time of the year, because we just concluded a very major time or festival celebrated in India, known as Navaratri, or the 9 nights. followed by the 10th night, which is called as Vijayadashmi, which is a time when it's a day of victory. So the goddess, she fought demons and evil on earth over 9 nights, and then um, emerged victorious. But also at a separate point in time, um, there's Lord Rama, who lived in ancient India. He defeated and killed a demon named Ravana on this day, who had abducted his wife, and uh, uh, and he returned to his kingdom victorious. And that day is celebrated as Vijayadashmi, or the night or the day of victory. So we will talk about the qualities that Lord Rama represents and how those are important to us, specifically to the right heart chakra. Um, but we'll start today's meditation with by raising our kundalini and balancing ourselves as we always do, and then doing the foot soak. So let's start by raising the kundalini 7 times. Sorry, raising the kundalini 3 times. And then balancing ourselves 7 times, because we have 7 chakras. Let's just bring the right hand a couple of inches over the head and see how we feel in that space between the fontanelle bone and our hand. You can do the same with the left hand. Let's now direct this subtle energy into the water and the salt with our hands, making clockwise motions over the water with the right hand. So that this becomes a good instrument to absorb all negative energies from our system. Now we can put both our feet inside the water. Let's take a few deep breaths. But as we breathe in, let's pause for a couple of seconds after we breathe in, and then breathe out, and then hold for a couple of seconds before breathing in again. So we introduce a small gap between inhaling and exhaling. Let's now put the right hand towards Mother Earth. Let us feel that connection with Mother Earth as if we are touching her with respect and gratitude. Mother, please help clear my left energy channel. Mother, please absorb all the imbalances due to memories or anything from my past. As we know, the left side is a side of emotion and desire, and of the past. It represents the potential in us, or potential energy that is fulfilled by the kinetic energy of the right side. So it is important that our potential is clean, that we have the right desire, and that we are free of unnecessary conditionings, attachments, that draw us away from our true potential, which is to manifest the self, manifest the divinity within us. So we simply surrender to Mother Earth to cleanse our left side. And Mother, please enlighten my innocence, so that I may feel that pure joy of being, Let's bring the right hand back on our lap, and we'll raise the left hand towards the sky. And we pray to the air and ether elements to take away all the heat, the excess heat that is generated on the right side, on our right energy channel, due to all the conscious, mental, and physical activity. Please remove all stresses and strains and worries about what's going to happen. Make me responsible, but without being attached, without being identified with the fruits of my actions. I am not the doer. The divine, the all pervading energy that is organizing and orchestrating the entire universe is doing everything. So we can say, you are the doer. Make me your instrument. And bring the left hand down. Let's bring the right hand over our stomach, just above the navel, and let's move the right hand slowly around the abdomen, clockwise, all around the navel. Asking our Kundalini, Mother, please purify my Guru principle. Make me my own Guru. Make me my own master. Please remove any falsehood, any impurity in my Guru principle. And please establish the quality of the Master, the Guru in me, so that I may transcend. My consciousness may progress beyond the material into the spiritual. And find its connection with the whole. You can bring the right hand back. Let's just meditate silently for a few moments. We keep our attention at the top of our head and enjoy the silence within, surrendering every thought, keep returning to the silence. rinse off both our feet. Right, let's take a minute to dispose the water in the toilet and come back and continue to meditate. Let's just keep our eyes closed, our attention at the top of our head, hands open, and let's see how we feel on our hands and on our head. Compared to before the foot soak. See if it feels cooler or there's more freshness, perhaps. But more importantly, do we feel more silent inwardly, internally? So we can slowly open our eyes. And in just a minute, we're going to listen to a speech by Sri Mataji where she talks about the qualities of the right chakra. But in the speech, she does so by talking about the qualities of Sri Rama, Lord Rama, who, like I mentioned at the beginning, was uh, is a very important, uh, you could say, historical figure in Indian culture uh, and Indian beliefs. So, just as a context for some of the references in the speech, I'll very quickly, briefly summarize the story of Rama, just so that you understand some of those references better in the speech. So the story goes, and this happened thousands of years ago. By the way, there is there are many recent researchers who found all kinds of archaeological evidences and astronomical evidences for many of these events that have been described in the story of Rama. The story itself is called as Ramayana, um, and it has been, the stories have stayed in India for thousands of years, relatively unchanged. At least the core story remains the same. So Rama was a prince married to Sita, and he had a brother Lakshmana. And because of uh, certain political reasons, they were exiled for 14 years. So they lived in the forest, and during that time, they walked pretty much the entire length of India, the subcontinent. And at one point, somewhere towards the end of their exile, um, a demon named Ravana hears about Sita, who is very beautiful, and comes and, in a very surreptitious way, takes her away from Rama. And he takes her and across the ocean, in to his kingdom known as Lanka. And Rama, he is a supremely powerful warrior as well, an archer, and so is his brother Lakshmana. So they go out looking for her, looking for Sita, and there's a lot of story between them starting the search and finding Sita ultimately in Lanka. But ultimately, when they get to the place, the kingdom of the demon Ravana, there is a huge war between the armies of Rama and Lakshmana and that of Ravana. And eventually, the demons are killed. Ravana, who is otherwise invincible, is killed by Rama. And, you know, and of course, he brings Sita back to Lanka. And that is Sita back to his kingdom, Ayodhya. Um, and the people of Ayodhya are overjoyed to receive their um, prince and princess after so many years, and they were very loved in that kingdom. So it is a day when evil is destroyed, but it also is a day when there is rejoicing, at the coronation of Rama takes place. So that is the sort of very quick backstory of for the speech. So let's listen to the talk.
His qualities, if you have to imbibe, first of all, we have to understand the innate situation of Sri Rama. Sri Rama is placed on the right hand side of your heart. Right hand side, right heart. He is placed there. Now, in a human being, there is no right heart. If you tell somebody there's right heart, they say, what? There are two hearts or three hearts? In our Sahaja Yoga, we have three hearts. One is the left, another is the right, and one is the center. Now, the right heart is a very important thing. The right heart looks after the whole lungs, both the lungs, all the throat, the trachea, the nose, the inner part. The outer side is looked after. We can say the features are given by Sri Krishna. But the inner part of it is all done by Sri Rama. They are the same. But one acts as in the inner part, the another as the outer part. It gives you the ears. From the inner part, Sri Rama does, he gives you the eyes in the inner part of the eyes. Now, it's so important to have the inner side all right and the outer side. Is an example of Sri Rama. He never cared for the outer side or the outward looks of a person. Because he came before Sri Krishna, he tried to build up the inner side of a human being. So we can say, though he is on the right heart, he acts through your Hamsa chakra and partly through your Vishuddhi chakra in the inner side of it. Because Sri Krishna, in the inner side of it, is Sri Ram, is Sri Vishnu. So when somebody is, say, not good looking according to the Western standard, according to me the Western standards are rather funny. Because Western standards don't look like, neither like Krishna or Sri Rama. The person like Sri Rama was a very healthy, tall person with his hands up to the knees. Ajanubhav. He is the one who has Ajanubhav. And he was plump. Both of them were plump. They had to be plump people because they were, though they were born of the Agni, he was born of the Agni, but the water is the main element of Sri Vishnu. So they were all plump people. They were not thin like sticks, as today's modern ideas are, to be thin like sticks and like TB patients. But it doesn't mean all plump people are good. We always logically think that plump people are, if mother says so, then plump people are good. It's not the point. The inner side of it, I'm saying. The inner side of it is just the opposite. Inner side of it is absolutely beautiful and absolutely full of love, affection and warmth. A person who doesn't have these things is a sign of a person who is not a surgeon, first of all. A person who is very loud, talks loudly, speaks loudly, laughs at wrong places, must be half mad, but cannot be a surgeon. See, the softness of Sri Rama goes to the extremes where I call the sankocha, the formality, the formal. But it is in English language, formal is not the word, sankoch. He was once, when he was fighting Ravana, he was taking out with his arrow his 10 heads one after another. And if he took out one, then took out the second, the first one would come back. So because he had a kind of a blessing that nobody can kill him by hitting him on his head. So Lakshmana says, you know for definite that this Ravana cannot be killed by hitting on his head. So why don't you hit him in his heart? So he said, the reason is this, that just now in his heart is Mahalakshmi, the Sita. Sita is sitting in his heart. And how can I hit him on his heart? Because she's there, she might be hurt. So what's the use of hitting on the head, he said. He said, because once I start hitting him on the head fast, his attention will go there. As soon as his attention will go into his head, then I can hit him on his heart. See the sankoch. See the sankoch, the way he talked. Now, when it went ahead with it in his character, which was so beautiful, that you find he was such a consistent person. Whatever he said, all the life he carried that. For example, he said, I'm the one who believes in one wife, Ekapatni Vrat. Now he had a very nice wife, no doubt, very beautiful wife, but she had gone to Ravana and he was left alone. When they wanted to start a kind of a yajna called as Rajasuya Yajna, which was meant to be the conquering the whole world. Then they asked him, you have to marry because you have to have your wife. They said, no, I can't marry because nobody could be like my wife and I can't marry. I can forego this kind of a yajna, but I can't marry again. So then they said, all right, there's only one thing you can do is to make a statue of Sita in gold. And you have to use her, that statue, as a wife representing. He said, that I will agree. He took away all his ornaments, everything, and made that statue, and he did this again. So whatever he said, he followed thoroughly. In his dharma, he was perfect. Another incident is that when Sita was lost, he never slept. He never slept on a bed, always on the Mother Earth. Never slept on a bed, always on the Mother Earth. The pain he had of his wife is very well described by all the poets of India. And when Sita left him ultimately, in a very mysterious way, she just disappeared in the Mother Earth, because Mother Earth had given her birth, so she disappeared into Mother Earth. Then Sri Rama became absolutely lost, and he jumped in the river Sharayu and disappeared in the water element from where he had come. Now this man had to give up his wife. In these contrasts, you can see the wave rising and falling of a personality. The society in which he lived, the state which he ruled, had an objection for a wife who had lived with Ravana. And the public started talking about it. So as a good king, he just decided that his wife should be left forever. And then he sent her on a beautiful chariot with his prime minister and his brother Lakshmana, who took her down and left her, told her this is what has happened, and that Sri Rama has asked her to take you down to the ashram of Valmiki. As a result of that, she got very upset, and she said, she was Adi Shakti, so she doesn't have to bother. She said, you just leave me here. Very self-respecting person. She didn't say, no, I'll come to him, or I'll sue him, I'll go in the courts, get all his money, how dare he throw me out. Nothing of the kind. That's the grace of a woman. Graciously, she said, all right, now you have listened to your brother, I'm your sister-in-law elder too. Now you obey me. And I tell you, as your sister-in-law, that you can now go, leave me here alone, and I don't want you to go any further with me to deport me with somebody. And she was pregnant. Here, if it happens, of course, horrible things can happen. But in India, if such a thing happens, the wife will kill herself, or she won't be able to bear it. I think both things are just the same in escape. If there's no aggression, then there is recession. But she said, no, I have to give birth to these two children. I can look after myself. All right, graciously he's done it, I have nothing. And please tell him not to worry about me. And she told Sri Rama, Sri Lakshmana, that all right, you look after him. That's all I want. And she told the chief minister, the mantri, that you must look after the kingdom. See the dignity, see the balance, see the character, the personality of Sri Rama. He was called as Maryada Purushottama. And look at his wife. She was equal to him in every way.
Let's just be in silence. Let's place the left hand on the right side of our heart. And here, this is the place where the qualities of Sita and Rama are established in us, which is that innate sense of dignity, a very subtle understanding of our boundaries and others' boundaries. This chakra can be affected through many ways, including if we violate any boundaries of behavior, or if we shirk responsibility. Sri Rama had a very deep sense of responsibility for his people. So here we ask our Kundalini, Mother, please give me a subtle sense of what my responsibility is towards myself and to others. Because there are many levels of responsibilities: social, familial, professional. But the highest level of responsibility is towards our spirit. Let me speak, think, act always in a way that behooves one who is connected, one who is at the level of the spirit. One who is in truth, in reality. Without fear, without malice and jealousy. Give me an enlightened sense of responsibility. This is also a chakra because it is on the right side. It relates to the masculine principle. Our, our parents, our father and mother, are they reside in us on our right and left heart chakras. So if there is any major strain or tension or gaps in our relationship with our Father, or even if you are a father and you have a son or a daughter, a relationship with those children, that can affect the right heart chakra. Which can be felt on the right pinky, the right little finger. So here we can say, if there is any gap, if there is any tension, there is any sort of inauthenticity or incompleteness, in my Father principle, please resolve this. Let it be resolved. You can bring the left hand down. Let's place the right hand in the middle of our chest on our heart and the left hand over it. This is where the Mother of the Universe resides, Shri Jagadamba. And just as at the cosmic level, she destroyed so many big demons within us, and each of us is a little microcosm of that macrocosm. We can appeal to her to destroy all the demons within. Make me fearless. Make me compassionate. Make me confident. Can bring our hands back on our lap. Let's place the right hand across the forehead and say, I forgive. I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself. I forgive. I forgive. Finally, we can press down on our Sahasrara with the center of our palm, stretching our fingers outward, and slowly massage this area, moving the right hand, rotating it clockwise around the scalp. O Mother Kundalini, please establish my self-realization. Let me go deeper in my connection with the all-pervading, with the whole. And bring our right hand down. Let's keep our attention at the top of our head or in the space just above the head and meditate in silence. Let's bring the right hand a few inches over the head and see how we feel. Is it cool? Or is it slightly warm? Is it a strong flow, or is it just very subtle? You can check with the left hand as well. Does it feel the same as the right hand or different? And how is it now compared to when we checked at the beginning? We can bring the left hand back. And we will conclude today's meditation by once again raising our Kundalini 3 times and balancing 7 times. So thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any questions or experiences to share, please feel free to do so.
Awesome, Sudeep. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mati.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sudeep. And thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, David.
Thank you both. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Jackie. You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashrit. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that this was like the perfect meditation. I was so happy about. You always take me so deep, and it's so lovely. I've been having a hard time connecting with Navaratri. It's, it's not my tradition. It's all these different goddesses. I don't understand which one, everyone a different day. And so I really appreciate you fleshing out Sri Rama today and Sita and the story. I love the details, if you're kind of a nerd a bit. It's so satisfying to know these wonderful stories and the way you present them. I don't want to hear about warrior goddesses. I want to hear about the deep heart of these gods and goddesses. And you really brought that to us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mira. Yeah, I do tend to dig into these stories. I mean, we grew up on many of these stories, but at one level, they're just entertaining stories. But then if you go deeper, there's so many layers to it with so much spiritual significance. And there's obviously a lot of context to how the actual story itself played out in terms of its concrete details. But like you said, what's important is to understand what that means for us now and how these events the advents of these different incarnations that came on Earth at different points in time, how they helped us move forward in our own evolution as humans, developing each of our chakras one by one. And it's very interesting, sometimes, Rama came at the level of the heart and he established these norms. But then when people became very rigid about some of these norms and kind of became serious about boundaries and so on, the divine had to come in the form of Shri Krishna a few thousand years later to undo some of those conditionings, to show us that the boundaries are not an end in themselves. We actually have to go beyond and be above those rules and so on, because ultimately it's all about becoming one, spiritually. So it's it's very interesting to see the progression of our evolution and the role of these different incarnations along the way. So
That's so fascinating. Thank you. It's about, flexibility, evolution, and there's so much more depth in just what you said right now, and it makes me curious to keep coming back, kind of thing. So
yeah,
wonderful,
sure. I mean,
wonderful.
yeah.
Yes, it
Thanks.
is fascinating, and especially the issue of evolution that I have. This validates my feeling, and not just my feeling, but many people, that we will one day be, I don't know when, there's no time, we will be one in spirit, and this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Different reincarnations and how they refine our evolution. It's very, very fascinating. Thank you, Sudeep.
Oh yeah. And these incarnations have come all over the earth. It's not like they all came in India alone. Jesus Christ has a very special significance in our sixth center, the Agni Chakra, for instance. And Socrates, whom most of us perhaps just know him as a philosopher from Greece, was actually very instrumental in establishing our Guru principle in the void, along with several others, including Abraham, Moses. There's a whole lineage of these primordial gurus that Sri Mataji has talked about, who established our Guru Tattva, Guru principle. So, but people, of course, have identified with the organizations that formed later, like after those people came and went, and we tend to divide ourselves along religious lines. Although, in a very, if you look at just the spiritual essence of their advents, it's all very integrated, and it only helps us to heed that, to look at how they integrate within us, and helped us grow. So thank you all for sharing that.
Thank you again, Sudeep.
Thank you, David. All right. Have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful week. And I look forward to meditating with you all again.
Thank you, Sudeep. It was
Thank you,
wonderful.
Thank you,
everybody.
Sudeep.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes, Lynn.
Okay, I was very deep in the meditation, and then it felt like I was dreaming, because I went off and then I came back, and it was like a weave. It was just very strange. I don't know. Is that something? I mean, I at first I thought I had fallen asleep, and then I said no, because I was still here, but it was like my mind went off into this, like a dream
sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um, I so if going off into a plane like that is it's kind of like, when you have a thought and you go off on a trail of thoughts, but then you're more conscious of it, then it's more of the right side being involved, and you're still at the conscious state. But sometimes, if the subconscious is involved, then it could take you into something like a dream state, and you feel like you weren't even conscious that you were here, and you were just seeing something.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. So it's to me, it's no different than I mean, you basically still have to just say not this and come back, because even that is off the, whether it's just a thought trail or something like a dream or trance, it's still off the center. It's still off the present.
I see.
So because ultimately, when you go through your Sahasrara, there is neither thinking nor dreaming. It's just you're there. You're you're conscious, but even conscious is a very limited word, because you're one. This consciousness is without the connection, so to speak. We are just identified with our limited self. But to be conscious, but in a way that is connected, and it kind of frees you. You feel this peace and this oneness. That is an indication that your Sahasrara is opening. So all I would say is, but these things, like what you just said, that kind of experience can happen sometimes. You just have to make sure you come back and not go off on that trail while meditating. But the other thing is to see where the imbalance lies. For instance, if lots of thoughts are coming, conscious thoughts, um, it could mean that you need to your attention needs to settle down. So just placing an ice pack on the liver sometimes can be helpful, because the liver is actually the seat of attention. I don't know if modern medical science looks at it that way, but we've seen so many times that just placing an ice pack on the liver certainly quiets the mind, and you become quieter. Similarly, for if you're going off into like dreams, then it could indicate sort of a stronger subconscious, or the left side, which so what you could try is use the light from a candle. Um, if you or someone else can hold the candle flame behind your head while meditating, and it's also advisable to meditate with your eyes open. You can look at Sri Mataji's photograph or her bindi, and so that you don't close your eyes and go off into the subconscious. Um, and you try to retain more of your conscious state while meditating. And the light helps clear the back agnya, which is kind of a place where the subconscious tends to accumulate. So that's you can either have someone or place a candle behind you on a shelf or something, and meditate. So your back agnya is getting cleared while you're being centered.
Okay, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
no problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
namaste.
Namaste. All right. So thank you all once again, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Sandeep. Bye.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everyone.